All right, so you have some digital notes about the Phoenicians that we're going to fill out using this video. So please follow along and complete your notes as I give you instructions and write some things up here on the whiteboard. So when we look at the top of your notes of the Phoenicians, you have a box for their location, and below is the map that shows you which 3 modern-day countries the Phoenician civilization was located in. So we're going to look at that map, and if we go from north to south, we'll find that the Phoenicians were located in modern-day Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. The Phoenicians were a very successful group of people who lived in the Mediterranean, and they became successful financially because they had one thing that nobody else had in the world at the time, and that is purple dye. So you can read the legend of how the Phoenicians discovered purple dye in your notes right there. You have the story. So accomplishment number 1 was that they invented purple dye. Because they were the people who had the purple dye and nobody else did, they could sell it to other people around the Mediterranean Sea for a very high price. So the color purple began to be the color of royalty, the color of richness. When we look at the Roman and Byzantine emperors later in history, they wore purple as a signifier of their royalty. And that goes back to when it was a new thing from the Phoenicians and something that was very expensive. So now they have this specialty luxury product that nobody else has. What are they going to do? They are going to build ships to sail around the Mediterranean to sell their purple dye. So they become successful shipbuilders and seafaring traders. So they build really good ships and they sail around the Mediterranean selling purple dye to other people. So now they're becoming really rich. People want to buy this stuff. It's great. So what are they going to do? They need to be able to write down all of these trade transactions. And in order to do that, they're going to need to create a language system to keep track of this information so they can make sure they know who owes them money, who's paid them, all of that important stuff for their economy. So accomplishment number 3 is they developed the first phonetic alphabet. So a phonetic alphabet is one that uses symbols to stand for sounds to create words, rather than using pictograms like the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians did. So our alphabet in English and most modern alphabets use phonetics. They have a letter, that letter stands for a sound, and when we see it, we say that sound out loud to make words. So the Phoenicians were the first people to create an alphabet that worked that way. If you look on the chart in your notes, you'll see that that Phoenician alphabet has developed into 2 directions over time. And our modern alphabet that we use in English, in the Romantic and Germanic languages, so English, German, French, Spanish, all of those languages that come from Latin and from Germanic roots, use the Phoenician alphabet. Essentially, we can trace back to the Phoenicians. So can the Semitic languages. Arabic and Hebrew also trace their roots back to the Phoenician alphabet. All right, so here we go. Here are our Phoenicians with their 3 major accomplishments. You need to make sure that your notes are complete and then move on to watching your Ed puzzle on the Hebrews.